Okay, how are you YouTube people out there? This is my latest video. I haven't posted in a while because I've been trying to figure stuff out. Um, so let me tell you the whole story. October 27th, I went to pick up my daughter, and the school was pretty much distracting me for some reason. I had no clue what was going on. All I know is that they called me saying, "Hey, you're her the person." I don't know if it's an IRP. I can't remember all these initials people are always giving me, but the volunteer was not there to help her, to make sure she was learning and to guide her and stuff. So she wasn't there today or that day. So I got there to go pick her up, but then they were distracting me for some reason. And I kept telling them, okay, I need to go pick up my daughter because we want to get out. She has costumes waiting for her at the place we're at. And they keep distracting me for some reason. So finally I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go get my daughter. So I was going towards the principal's office, and the nurse distracted me. She said, "Come here, I need to ask you a question." I'm like, really? I need to go get my daughter. What's going on here? Why are you guys distracting me for some reason? So I talked to her. She was asking me all these questions. I'm like, okay, how is it going? I'm like, she's asking me like the question like, how's it going? How you been? How's Katie? Blah 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 blah. Anything going on? Like a problem or something? I was like, no. Everything seems fine. So I tried to go through the nurse's office, through the principal's office, and they were pretty much holding the door. And I'm like, what's going on? Why are they holding the door? Why can't I go get my daughter? The nurse was acting all dumb, saying, "Oh, I don't know what's going on." Like she had no clue what was going on, which is bullshit. So finally, I was able to peek in when they opened the door, and there was two cops there. And I'm starting to freak out, like, what's going on? What happened to my daughter? What's wrong? So they came into the nurse's office where I was at, and they were asking questions like, I don't remember exactly what questions, because to me it seemed like it was a long time ago, even though it was like 2 months or something, or a month and a half or something like that. So I'm starting to freak out. I'm like, why is CPS involved? What's going on? So I called my housing advocate, telling her what's going on. Oh my God, CPS is here. They're gonna question my daughter for some reason. I'm like, you can't question a 5-year-old. I mean, because she's not gonna tell you, what's going on, because she's 5. She's not gonna comprehend what's going on. She's just a little kid. She's a toddler. So I'm all like freaking out about that, and the detectives are like, why? Because I mentioned a question when I was on my phone to my advocate, and the detective jumped at me like, why would you even ask that or say that? Because I'm like, I've been through CPS before. I know what they would go for, what they would ask a kid, and kids don't understand the question that they're asking, so they're going to be like, oh yeah, mom, blah, 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 this, and they're going to be like, oh really? And you can't really question a 5-year-old, because 5-year-olds don't really understand what's going on. Yes, they're going to tell you the truth because that's all they know. So I'm all freaking out about that. So the detectives are like, okay, we'll let you go as long as you come to the department and have us question you the following Monday. So I'm like, okay, fine. But I was still questioning, and they're like, we don't want to talk about this anymore. If you don't want to do this, we can go ahead and take your kid now. I'm like, wait a minute, I said I was gonna go. Can I just ask questions? But I'm like, okay, I'll go. I'll come meet you the following Monday. So we left. We were going to the park. We went there. We went there for a little bit, and I'm kind of stressing because of what just happened. I'm getting anxiety issues or whatever. But also we had those costumes that were waiting, because it was like the following week was going to be Halloween. So our friend had brought some costumes over for my daughter. So we were at the park for like maybe 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, Haley, let's go. Let's just go look at the costumes. so I can calm down too, and so she could look. And she's like, okay, okay, let's go. So we were going there. We were like halfway there, and because it's not too far from the park and where we stay at. And there's two cop cars parked there, and I'm like, oh great, now what? I'm thinking, what happened now? So as soon as we get over there, the cops were like, okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and take your daughter, blah blah blah. I'm like, wait a minute, you guys said that I can keep my daughter. I mean, what's going on? Why are you turning around saying I can't keep my daughter? What's going on? I'm like, I said I'd go with the thing to Monday. Oh, we just decided we'll take your daughter. They were not telling me anything, and I'm trying to be inquisitive because I want to be understandable. You know, I don't know. Most people just like let the authorities do whatever they want, which they can't. They're not supposed to do whatever they want. And I'm like trying to be inquisitive. Like, you can't take my daughter. You have no right. There's no paper. Blah blah blah. I was like, oh, we don't need paper. We could just take her. I'm like, you can't just take her. And I'm freaking out. So I go inside, tell my friend. She she comes out, she calls the manager, let him know what's going on. So I go out and I give them, because I had to come in to get something for Acadia so she could have something. And they're basically saying, if I don't do what they're saying, they're just gonna have her taken without me saying goodbye. So I'll come in here, get her blanket, go out there, and they had told her, my daughter, that she's going on a field trip. I'm like, no, baby. And I'm talking to her. I'm like, no, they're gonna take you away from me, okay? And they're telling me not to freak her out. I'm like, you don't tell me how to raise my kid. If I don't tell my kid what's going on now, she will freak out later, because I know the type of kid that my kid is. So I had to tell her now, and so she won't freak out. So I'm trying to explain this to my 5-year-old, and they're telling me not to freak her out. I'm like, you're gonna freak her out anyway. These people do not know my kid. She's got issues. She's got ADHD. She's got learning problems. She's not good at socialization because she's not really a social person, and she's like me. So they took her away, and this was October 27th, which was on a Friday. So the whole weekend I'm stressing. Oh my God, it's horrible. Monday comes around. I go there to talk with him, and we wait there for like 2 hours, wanting them to question us, but they never did. And I didn't know then, but later I found out that was the time that they were doing a forensic test on my daughter, trying to see if something had happened. Because basically they're accusing me of, I hate to say this, of messing with my kid. I don't like having something that is not true being accused on me, because I've always hated people messing with kids like that. That just irks me to the point where I just want to strangle people who mess with kids like that. And yet what was said to me, saying that I did this, is really horrendous. It's a false allegation that has been made to me against me, saying that I did this to my own kid. But so it's like this whole process of trying to go to court. The lawyer I had before was not doing shit. She didn't really care. She didn't want to work with me. She just basically got my case and just said, oh, great, okay, I'll do this one. But it's like the lawyer that I had before did not want to do anything with my case. She didn't tell me I could have contested this and got my kid back sooner. But since I didn't do this, this is a long process now. And then I got a new lawyer. And she saw my case, and she says this whole case is trumped up. It's trumped. It's bullcrap case. This case should never have happened. And she also said there's never been a case where a mother had messed with her kid like this. There's never been a case like this. And for them to do this to me, it's like they're making an example out of me, saying that I did this, which there's never been a case, and I would never done this anyway. So now it's December 23rd. And the only thing I've been able to do is visit my kid. Visitations it was either with a CPS lady, or now it's with a licensed daycare worker. And I went to court the 21st trying to get my kid back, because I have a lot of people backing me up on this. They know the kind of mother I am. I'm one of those mothers that would protect their own kid. I would even die for my kid. I would never let anybody hurt my kid. Why would I do that if I don't want anybody to hurt my kid? I do not want my kid hurt because I've been through this process as a kid myself and vowed never to hurt my kid. I would vow never to let anybody hurt my kid, and then this shit happens and it's hard. It's like, why would I be accused of something like this? No one talked to me, and I did research. It's like, to be accused of this, I did research on my daughter's situation because she's what my friend had called a beta kid, which means beta kids are like extremely sensitive kids. And once they experiment something, they're going to stick with that. So pretty much it's like preschool masturbation. And she was doing this like since she was a kid. And I've always told her, don't do that, stop doing that. I don't want people seeing you do that because that's not right. And she pretty much experimented and she did it on her own. I had nothing to do with it. And for them to accuse me of doing this to my kid is just wrong because I would never do this. My daughter had experienced it and then she kept going with it. She just took off with it. I had nothing to do with this. And this whole court thing is just bogus. I mean, I have witnesses to testify that I'm not that kind of mother. And I'm just beating myself up about this because this case never needed to happen. They could have just talked to me. They could have talked to my friends, the people I worked with, the people, her daycare. They could have talked to her and all this could have been resolved like that. But no, they have to drag it out. They're saying they're still investigating. I'm like, how long does it take to fucking investigate this thing? I mean, it doesn't take that long to investigate. It doesn't take that long to, find out any evidence if there is any evidence, which there's not. And they've already done a forensics test thingy on my daughter twice. And the detective had talked to my lawyer saying if my daughter is incompetent of doing another test, then that means they would dismiss the case. They would close it up. But they're not doing that. They're freaking liars. And this is with Seattle Police Department. And the ones who accused me of doing this crap is Madrona Elementary. Yes, in Seattle. The principal, Mary McDaniels, is the one that's accusing me of this horrendous crime. And it's not right. She could have done it. She could have done this. Let's just say she could have she could have done it in a better way instead of just jumping to conclusions and calling CPS like right away. This is freaking child masturbation preschool crap. I hate talking about this because it's just, it sounds crazy or something, but I've done research, but it's pretty much a lot of kids experiment. A lot of kids go through that. Some get over it, some don't. My kid is pretty much like a special needs kid because she doesn't understand, It's like with her, you have to keep repeating things to get her to stop. You have to keep repeating yourself to get her to do what she's supposed to do. Like, don't do that, don't do that. You have to keep repeating it. You need to eat, stuff like that. You just can't do this with a kid, okay? And she's only 5. She's been around me her whole life. And for them to do this is really, I want to say, it's not cool. It's not right. They can't just break up a family just because the principal is saying one thing which is not true. It's a freaking lie. So, we pretty much missed Halloween, we missed Thanksgiving, and now we're going to miss Christmas because of this. And it's really hard on me because, to me, Christmas is all about family. And I wanted her to be with me so she can get all these cool toys, and she doesn't really have any toys right now because we're pretty much like homeless. And I've been trying to get us in a better situation. I mean, I got her in school. That was great. She's only been in this school for like 2 months, and then for them to say this shit about us, about me. They don't even know me. They don't even know my kid. And yet they're saying this crap about us. I've known people that known me, and my daughter her whole life. And they know me. I would never be that kind of person. I would never do that to my kid. And for the first 6 months of my daughter's life, I didn't let nobody hold her or touch her because I'm pretty much one of those paranoid moms who didn't want to get my kid hurt, sick, or whatever. So now I'm having to do this, and I want to put this on YouTube to let people know that this whole government crap is corrupted. CPS, they don't care. They want to break families up, even if there's nothing going on. And for people to not know you that well makes false accusations against you. It's just they themselves need to be prosecuted because they're jumping the gun. They're assuming shit, and that only makes an ass out of both of us, and that's just not right. And I just wish that they would have seen this. I mean, I had all these statements from people that I know. I given it to my old lawyer, but she didn't do shit. So that way, that's the reason why this is taking so long. My new lawyer read it, all these statements I gave her, and all the info I gave her about preschool masturbation. And she thinks this whole case is crap. She's thinking that this is just wrong, that they're doing me wrong, and she wants to help me fight. And I'm like, yes, we need to fight. I mean, we lost one battle. We're going to keep fighting, and until this thing is over, until I get my kid back. And I'm supposed to be getting housing next month, and I'm hoping I want to have her back before I have to leave because it's in another city. It's pretty much like half a day's ride to our new housing, and right now I'm in Seattle, and the new housing is in Port Angeles, so I'm just hoping to get her back. That's all I want, is just to get my kid back.